All right. We are back for another episode of LDP's podcast. If you have not already heard, 19 children, 2 adults we know confirmed are dead in the elementary school shooting in Texas. Horrible tragedy that just happened, a mass shooting. Obviously, condolences and prayers go out to the family, friends, and loved ones of all the children and adults that died. It's inexcusable, really, when you think about it. It's horrible. I don't care what side politically of the spectrum you're on, Republican, Democrat. I think we could all be unified when things like this happen. Unfortunately, it takes tragedies like this that happen that you kind of look at things through the bigger picture, whether you want to be stricter gun law, more open to more pro-gun, it doesn't matter. The point is we definitely need to zone in and make sure that kids going to school are safer, no matter what laws are passed, no matter what your opinion is on metal detectors. I don't care what side you're on. I think we could all agree that something needs to change. Something needs to change. And I don't want to get too political and start stating my opinions on here. I just want to, give the message that I know that as a kid that's been through the school system my whole life, as my brother has, it's inexcusable for a kid having to show up every single day to school and feel unsafe because you don't know who's going to pull, a gun out of their backpack and start shooting. These are your friends. This is like this is an elementary school.
It's insane.
1st to 5th grade most of the time. These are kids that some of these kids probably might not even know what a gun is. You know what I mean? Like, it's absurd. Like, it's totally, completely absurd. And I'm actually going to pull up the article right now that I was reading about the shooting. The Mexican government is providing consular assistance in the wake of the deadly school shooting, which is located roughly 50 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border. So a friend, right, of I don't even want to say his name, of the kid that shot up this school. So the shooter's mutual friend that would hop on the game with him every once in a while basically said that he would be bullied in school. Kids would make fun of him for the clothes he was wearing. They would make fun of him because his hair didn't look right. They would make fun of him because he was awkward. And ultimately, you don't know the impact that your words are going to have on someone. You don't know the impact that your words are going to have on someone. And it's still inexcusable that this kid, shot up in elementary school. It's never a way to harness your emotion. Obviously, that's not a positive way to do it. But who knows? Maybe if in school kids treated him better and, didn't pick on him for his appearance, didn't pick on him for other reasons, maybe all this pent-up frustration wouldn't have been there. Maybe he wouldn't have acted out in a moment of rage like this. Obviously, mental health, as we know, is such a huge problem that we have, especially amongst guys. We feel like when we feel a certain thing, we can't express it because we get seen as weak, we get seen as soft, whatever it may be. I promise you, if you're having thoughts about harming yourself or harming others, you got to talk to someone about it. You have to. It's totally not an option. Even if you think it's not a big deal, it's totally not an option. It's unsafe. If you're thinking about hurting yourself or others, I promise you, it's never worth it because you're going to hurt so many other people. And life has really shitty moments, but it has really beautiful moments also.
Yeah.
So
it goes beyond, obviously, a moment of rage. That's clearly more than... Yeah. There's more going on.
Yeah, it's deep. There's
what I mean?
There's so much deeper. So much internal conflict. Like, if you really look into the mind of what has to be going on...
For somebody to actually do that.
To possess someone, to go and murder innocent kids in elementary school... There's something so horribly going on in that young man's brain that he had a war going on in his own brain, fighting his own demons, and obviously he allowed them to win. But, you guys got to talk to someone, and if you are being bullied and these kids are bullying you, they're insecure about their own shit, and they're getting the security through bullying you. So don't take what they say to heart because it's not true. And if you're the bully, stop, because you never know what someone is going to do. You never know. We live in a crazy world with a lot of people that don't know how to express their emotion in a positive, normal way. And the next thing you know, you might end up in a situation like these kids ended up having to unfortunately go through, and you would have never expected it happening to you. So, you know, the moral of the story that we could all learn from this is that obviously something needs to change, whether it's gun laws, whether it's metal detectors, whether it's, teachers being armed, whatever side you're on, we got to figure something out, and we got to make the school environment a safer place, because it's simply too easy to, cause a problem like a mass shooting. You know what I mean?
I know. I was definitely afraid going to high school when there was a fire alarm or something of that nature, like a school lockdown. Like, in the back of my head, I'm like, what if this is because the last time
even at my high school that I went to, like, we would get threats sometimes, like bomb threats. Like there's a lot of people in this world, unfortunately, that are mentally ill. It's an illness. It's like a physical illness, and that mental illness can translate to the physical harm of either themselves or another innocent person. So we need to treat that the same way we fund, cancer research and AIDS research and these different diseases. A mental health disease, as I like to call it, inflicts harm upon other people and those people. Suicide kills a bunch of people. Homicide kills a bunch of people. It's a disease, and it's rampant. And there needs to be a larger solution to problems like this at the root, or we need a way to disarm these people. We need a way to figure these issues out. Kid shows up with an AR-15 and shoots a bunch of kids in an elementary school. It's like,
that is insane. It's actually
absurd.
Unfathomable.
It's absurd. Innocent kids. So, like I was saying, what we could learn from this is that, obviously, if you're being bullied, don't listen to those people. If you are the bully, stop, because you don't know what someone's going through. Something needs to change, and mental health is not something that you should feel ashamed. A mental health issue is not something you should feel ashamed for having. It's just something that needs to be worked out. You should be, I know it sounds hard when you're going through a certain thing. I've suffered mass amounts of anxiety and depression, but you need to acknowledge, right, that someone would love to trade positions with you right now. The kid that's fighting for their life, in a hospital bed with cancer, terminal, and they know they're going to die, would love to trade positions with you because you're feeling like you want to inflict harm upon others, or you're depressed and you want to inflict harm upon yourself, because there is ways to pull yourself out of that dark space. When someone's guaranteed to die, I promise you, human life is the single most important, valuable thing that you can have. Like, your life, no matter how shitty it may feel, absolutely will matter to someone. If you truly believe it doesn't right now, it will matter to someone at some point. I can't promise when, but it will. So just make sure you talk out your issues, and don't listen to bullies. Don't bully. It's basic, man. He would show up to work to McDonald's. I know he was an employee there, or Wendy's, one of these stores, and his manager said that there was nothing really abnormal about him. He just showed up to work.
It's crazy.
Worked.
Some of these people
got his check, and that was it. And it's like, you don't know what's going on in someone's head. If you see something physical on someone's face, like a burn or something, like, it's like, oh, what happened to you? Or if you see someone and they got a tattoo or a new piece of jewelry, it's like, oh, nice chain, nice tattoo. You can't see someone's brain. You can't. So you can't understand what emotions that person is feeling. Based upon their emotions, they might do something terrible to themselves, to you, to one of your loved ones, to someone else. You need to be kind to everyone, because unfortunately people like this exist. And I know that if you're like myself, your safety and your family's safety and your friend's safety is your number one priority. And the nicer you are to these people, maybe you even get a little bit close to someone that you think is awkward or shy, or, is showing signs that maybe there's something a little bit wrong. Instead of pointing a camera at them and laughing, you could try to almost become their friend, because maybe that's what they need.
100%.
Maybe that's what they need. And maybe if they give you a sign that they're going to do something terrible, you let local authorities know, you talk them out of it. You tell your parents, you tell a guardian, and these kinds of things could be diffused a lot quicker. These kinds of problems we could avoid at the root. We need to see those school shooting numbers and those mass shooting numbers go down, because unfortunately what we see is spike. And it's just, innocent people losing their lives. Like it's totally inexcusable.
Yeah. And our main goal for this podcast is not, I mean, we have the girls' content, we have all that stuff, and we know you guys love it, and we love it as much as you do. But there's certain things in the world that have to be spoken about like this, and we have to reflect on them and make a change. It's like unexcusable, you know?
Yeah.
Again, like if you're going through something, find somebody, find a friend, a family member, find an outlet, whether it's, and if you don't have somebody to talk to, watch these videos. And I pray for you, I really do. And I hope you find that source of light in your life. Because I know we've all been down and we never feel like we're going to get back up. But you just have to believe that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, you know, through whatever you're going through. But yeah, we make these videos so that you guys can reflect on them and kind of like see what's going on in the world. And it's beyond the girls and the money and the motivation, and there's just more to life, you know.
You know, we are all human beings. Like the only the one thing that we all have in common is we all bleed. We all have a heartbeat. If you're living, like we're all humans. You know what I mean? Regardless of skin color, tattoos, like that's all surface. You know what I mean? We all have a brain that the health of our brains matters so much to a point that we could avoid things like this happening if we took advantage of all the outlets that we have on healing a mental health issue at the root. You know, why are you feeling like this? Like,
yeah, because I've been to therapy.
What kind of medicine? What kind of medicine could potentially help? You know, who can you talk to that could help? You know, what can you do that could help? There's so many different things that can allow you to free yourself of that mental warfare that you have going on when you realize that it's really not that deep. You know, it's really not that deep.
And sometimes it really is that deep.
All a thought is essentially is a thought. You know, the power that you give your thoughts, and you know, and this is separate, but like, for example, if you have a self-limiting belief, you're going to believe that self-limiting belief the more you allow it to fester. If that self-limiting belief comes in, for example, like I'm not good enough or I'm ugly, and you nip it in the bud as soon as it comes in and you say, wait, why am I feeling like this? Am I actually ugly, or is this just an irrational insecurity? You know what I mean? You nip it in the bud and it's gone. Now, when you get these thoughts of doing something bad to yourself or to other people, and you acknowledge them as just a thought, it's just a thought. Once you give the thought power, you're enabling the thought, right?
And keep in mind, this is on very basic terms.
Yeah,
we understand.
This is very simple. Like
when somebody's like has the audacity to do what just happened, like that is beyond accepting it as a thought.
But when you take action upon that thought and you give it the utmost power and you're willing to take someone's life, there's clearly something more mentally going on. So when you feel yourself like actually about to do something that you know, even if morally you don't feel as though it's wrong, but you know, even to a societal standard that it's absolutely wrong, you need to talk to someone about it, even if you feel like following through with your actions, because it's not worth it. You're putting so many people through so much mental hardship, and if it's coming from a place of you want them to feel the same way as you,
crazy.
You know what? I'm sorry that you feel that way, but you should look to see your better days, because there are always better days ahead. Always. You know, you're gonna find a loved one, you're gonna make money, you're gonna go have experiences that you didn't think you could have, and you're gonna be happy. Like, these things are coming in life. You can't harp on the negative shit, so just choose happiness. It's a choice. Not every day is going to be a good day, but if you choose your happiness, it will come. Look at everything, be the glass half full guy. You know what I mean? Ultimately, that's really the moral of the story. Be the glass half full guy or girl when you're going through a particular issue, especially when it comes to mental health. Make sure that you seek the right treatment. Don't look at it as I'm going to be stuck in this position forever. I know it's hard to break that cycle of thinking when your brain chemicals are a little bit messed up with your serotonin and your dopamine. I understand that it's a chemical imbalance, but there are thoughts and mantras that literally influence your brain chemicals. Like, I don't want to go too into detail about it, but this is proven stuff, man. Like how important like certain little things are that could change, that could just help make you feel a little bit better about your mental at the end of the day. So, I don't know. Do you have anything to add there?
Not really.
Look, because I could even read just a little.
I mean, not really, but again, it's man, it's like so I don't understand. Yeah, I genuinely don't understand like how you do that. Like I don't want to understand. I never want to understand.
Of a former classmate of school shooter Salvador Ramos said the gunman texted him photos of a firearm he had and a bag full of ammo days before the attack. The friend who did not want to be identified by name said he was somewhat close, and from time to time they would occasionally play Xbox together. He would message me here and there, and 4 days ago he sent me a picture of the AR he was using and a backpack full of rounds, probably like 7 mags. I was like, bro, why do you have this? And he was like, don't worry about it, the friend said. He proceeded to text me, I look very different now. You wouldn't recognize me, he added. The friend said Ramos was taunted by others for the clothes he had wore and his family's financial situation.
Wow.
He was eventually seen less and less in class. He would like not go to school and he just slowly dropped out, the friend said. He barely ever came to school. So you could clearly see how
His friends affected.
there's a slew of things going on that could have been avoided. When this friend saw his friend showing him a gun with mags and like, why, and I'm not going to sit here and play the blame game, but if he would have taken that initiative to let a guardian know and then go through and let authorities know, like this person has a gun and, they're taunting with it and we don't know what's going to happen, that could have been avoided. It totally could have been avoided. The kid shot his own grandmother as well.
That's crazy.
Like this all could have been avoided. So, I don't know. Really, on that note, there's not much more to say about it other than I'm going to keep the family of everyone in my prayers, of course. And, I know that brighter days are ahead and try to see this horrible situation through a fuller glass in a way that maybe now this is like the last straw. Like this finally happened. And now, the government is finally going to zone in on, okay, what can we all agree upon on both sides, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever. What can we do to avoid this happening? Or how can we stop it when it starts quickly and avoid people getting killed?
Yeah.
Like we need to come to a solution. So I'm hoping this is the last school shooting. The odds are it's probably not going to be, but I'm hoping that we could just learn something from this. And I'm hoping that you at home, if you're the bully getting bullied, you understand this is never worth it. There's so many people now that are going to be negatively affected for the rest of their lives, let alone the thousands of people that are in school now in that area, elsewhere, that now have to go to school with a form of PTSD in a way, or a form of anxiety in a way, because now you're nervous and anxious about this happening. And it's not irrational to feel that way because it could happen, So we need to get a move on figuring out how we could diffuse these situations. So on that note, I feel like that's really all that we had to touch on. Again, I'm just going to keep the prayers of everyone in my family, and I hope you guys do as well at home, no matter what you believe in. Just, we can at least all hope that, they're going to be okay. Because I could imagine how I would feel if I got the news that one of my cousins that was at elementary school level was shot dead in a school shooting by someone who was mentally ill.
Yeah, I would literally.
Like, you need to put yourself in the position, like, what if this was my little brother or my cousin or my nephew or my little sister? Like, just because this person isn't related to you or you don't know this person personally, this doesn't mean this can't happen to you or to a family member. Like, let that sit in. This can absolutely happen to you or a family member. We need to get a move on a solution, and I'm hoping that this is a wake-up call for everybody because this can't happen again. It can't. It's just too unfortunate. These tragedies can be avoided. There's ways to go about fixing these problems, and I'm not going to go too into detail, but let's get a move on it. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you for the next episode, and sorry that today was kind of on a negative note, but I just felt like we had to touch on it, and hopefully going forward we have more fun, positive, exciting current events that we could cover. But we live in such a crazy world that unfortunately things like this do happen. So see you guys for the next episode.